What's going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel, and if you guys are new, welcome. Today we're going to cover the god roll for the Exuviae little hand cannon that we got from this episode, which is a 120 stasis burn in our kinetic slot, which has that Dark Aether Reaper as its origin trait through all of those other weapons. So let's get into it with the origin trait that I just talked about. Final blows with this weapon periodically spawn those Dark Aether charges. Charges can be detonated early with weapon fires or by coming into contact with them. Doing so refills the weapon from reserves, so it's like a little bit of continuous damage that you get to do with these weapons. You can read that community research down there for the extra details of it, but this thing does feel very, very good on these weapons, and you can get that refill, especially on something like this, or even something like the Liturgy, which is that nice stasis breach load grenade launcher that we got. So very good origin trait that we got for these bad boys. So for PvE with this bad boy, we got stability as our masterwork, as well as chambered compensator as our barrel, because we got plus 10 to stability, plus 7 in recoil direction. We lose a little bit of handling, but in PvE, not that big of a deal in my personal opinion. You got two options in the magazine. First option is a pendant mag. You get plus 2 the magazine, you can see there, but I think our next one is better. The better option is the tactical mag, in my personal opinion. Plus 1 to mag, plus 10 to reload, which is also a little lacking as a 120, but we get plus 5 in stability, which is definitely what we need on this bad boy because it does bounce all over the place. Now, third and fourth column, we definitely got a couple different options. First one right here is Rime Stealer in the third column. Destroying those stasis crystals or defeating frozen targets with this weapon grants you frost armor. Frost armor does feel very, very juicy. You can take a lot of damage with it on, and you can get it without even having a stasis subclass on, so that is also goated just alone. Second option for you is triple tap. This is more for doing a little bit of extra damage, if you will, if we're going with something in the fourth column like precision instrument, but also very good for just keeping up that stun on a champion. And this weapon, being a 120, does a little bit more damage than usual compared to some of our other hand cannons, at least. Last option in that third column is stats for all. Hitting 3 separate targets increases handling, stability, reload, as well as range. So definitely feels pretty juicy on this hand cannon, specifically for that stability. It is only plus 10, but 35 in reload also feels very, very good. And we're using this mostly to take out those rank and file enemies, maybe some of those orange bars with stunning champions instead of doing the actual DPS on some of those bosses, mini bosses. Now, first option in the fourth column, which I really like the combination of either the headstone with Rime Stealer or headstone and triple tap. We got the precision kills give us the stasis crystals that spawn at the victim's location. Very good for keeping up the stasis synergy, creating stasis shards, etc. Plus does that little AoE damage of shattering that stasis crystal. Precision instrument is what I would pair with triple tap if you're going for more of the damage side of this, or at least juice in the damage for a hand cannon. Since this is a 120, feels better having that sustained damage, gives us increased precision damage, stacking it all the way up to 25%, so definitely very, very nice. Our last two options, we got explosive payload as one of them. Projectiles create AoE detonation on impact. Definitely good in both PvE, PvP side of things. Spore this weapon, would use this on basically any type of gun that can grab it. It feels very good on this Exuviae hand cannon. Now, if you do get a stats for all, make sure you pair it with 1 for all right here, because hitting those 3 separate targets is going to give us all those buffs on handling, reload, stability, etc. But we're also going to get a damage increase, which is 35%, which is pretty juicy. Definitely probably my favorite damage buff on this hand cannon specifically, but we do have that nice synergy with headstone or with that nice explosive payload. Does feel good as well, but I do think 1 for all, stats for all, a very good combo. Precision instrument with triple tap, and then you do have the combo of having Rime Stealer as well as that headstone for PvE. So I think overall I will give this bad boy probably a good 4-4, maybe 4-5 out of 5 for the PvE realm. That aggressive frame 120 feels very, very good, keeps up with some of our other weapons. Do wish we had a champion stun with that this season, but overall stasis synergy of it very, very juicy, and it does feel good in PvP as well. Now when we move on to PvP, this thing does feel pretty good. You do got to watch out for that stability. It feels a little bit more jumpy than some of our other 120s, igneous, stuff like that, but small bore helps, gives us a little extra stack of range, plus that 7 in stability definitely feels like it helps. We're going to go with a stability masterwork as well to really make that feel super, super crispy. Second column, you got your accurized rounds if you want to build it out for really good range at about 80 with this. For the accurized giving us plus 10. You could go with steady rounds if you want, if you're struggling in that stability aspect, but I think accurized is your number one. Third column, got 3 choices in a row right here. 2 pain is our first one. The weapon that is equipped to taking damage gives us handling, aim assist until it is stowed. Definitely nice for the Crucible in my personal opinion. Very, very good little combination with some of the combos that we have in our fourth column. On course, your second option right here, final blows grant stacking stability, range accuracy upon those defeats. Precision final blows stack even more stacks. So you can see the community research down below definitely helps us with each stack, specifically that plus 8 instability for each stack. So feels pretty good in my personal opinion, but I think I like to paint a little bit more. Last in the third column, we got Lone Wolf right here, slightly improves aim assist, ADS, as well as airborne effectiveness, increases these effects when there are no nearby allies. So if you're going into trial, something like that, you're the last guardian standing, this is going to help. Or if you like being that lone wolf going on, getting the flanks, etc., definitely going to be a very good little perk. But again, I think third column wise, I would go with 2 pain as my number one option. I'm going to go with 3 options in this fourth column as well. Precision Instrument, also very good thing. Gives us that little extra ability to possibly 2-tap those enemies. Getting some crazy 122 taps is super, super nice. This with 2 pain is very, very good. We do have this next one, which probably is better for overall if you're not hitting your shots, etc. Frenzy is our next option, which being in combat gives us that plus 15 to damage. We get 100 in handling, a little bit in reload as well. So handling at 100, very good in the Crucible, of course. 15% damage increase just by being in combat. Also easy to get procced in the Crucible. So definitely a very good option. But our next one is probably my number one choice. I would go with the explosive payload as my best option, with the good old projectiles creating that AoE on that detonation. 2 pain with explosive payload is definitely my number one choice. Like it very, very much. I still think I would choose my Igneous over this, but I haven't really given it a shot. It does feel pretty crispy in its moments, but I think that Igneous is a little bit better, my personal opinion. So overall, gonna give this thing still a very good score at about the same thing in the PvE realm, maybe like a little bit higher at a 4.6, 4.5 for this PvP realm. Does feel very, very juicy in my opinion, but not as good as some of our S tiers like the Igneous. So appreciate all you guys for coming back to the channel. As always, appreciate you guys again. Don't be afraid to like and subscribe to the channel. Helps me out, helps the channel out, helps the algo out, and you guys can share these around with the community, get those god rolls out, get those builds out, etc. You know what I'm saying. Join the Discord if you would like. But again, appreciate all you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.